this shit hit the streets, you know what it could do. Probably do a lot of things to the thuggers of crew. Get into your mama's house, even bump in the car. I ain't looking for no diamonds, man, I want me a star. Belvedere's at the bar, man, I caught that eye. She say, is you that rapper dude? I say, of course that's I. She say, I got your CD and my DVD, and at work my PC got your MP3. And I'll be watching TV and say to T, that's me. However see him in the streets, he gon' see that feed. Don't get it twisted, I'm really a nice dude. My pockets only really as deep as a nice mood. Don't think I eat cause I really just like food. Then no, I'm not rude, if you listen it might soothe. So I give it to him fast, I give it to him slow. You told him I was raw, I let them niggas know. I let your nigga roll, blow back on Cigarro. Frisco to the Figaro, back on the east and let it go. I did a lot of things, I seen a lot of shit. I had the biggest guns and hit a lot of licks. You think cause I was hit, the 60 out of this. Now I don't know now, young and it's like a little bit.
How you doing? Yeah, I can hear you perfect, man. Yeah, can you hear me better now? Oh, yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, sorry about the last time, when we disconnected from the Skype and then we connected back, I never pressed the record again, I had the screen record of you, but no audio at all,
Yeah, we good. I have the audio too. I think I do. But we here.
We here, yeah? Very good.
Yeah, we here.
Very good. I've downloaded the program you told me about, the editing software. Looks pretty savage.
Which one? Black Magic?
Yeah. I just opened it up yesterday and I looked at it. I was like, whoa,
It's a pretty deep program, and every section is a career in itself if you get into it. So it's a lot. And to be free, you can't beat that. It's a professional tool.
Did you watch the podcast with Polly?
Yes, I did actually. That was pretty dope. Yeah.
It came out really nice, really nice. I'm really happy with that, and I was really happy with the Ghetto, and I'm really happy with the Gregory, and shout out to all the previous guests, and they were fantastic. Shout out to all the previous guests, and they were fantastic.
Soo100 on the track.
Tell me about the LA. How's life in LA? Because it's a, I believe, fantastic place to be.
Well, I like it. It's the weather is nice all year round because I'm from DC and we get all of the seasons. But here, it's just beautiful. And also, I noticed that I guess it's LA. It could be the whole California, but the way they treat people with disabilities is very understanding, and I didn't get that. But when I got to meet the people, there's a lot of people who've been injured. So someone's uncle or brother or cousin may be in a chair, and there's a lot of accommodations. So it was definitely a place that I like being.
I can see you pretty open about your disability. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, well, I can't hide it.
Well, when that happened, how old were you?
I was 18 years old and I was shot multiple times, December 27th, 1999.
Soo100 on the track.
The first one was to the face. I took a shot here. And then I got a couple in my chest, a lot through my left arm, and then the one in the spine put me in the chair. So I have a bullet in my thoracic 8 vertebrae.
Oh man, do you? Sorry me asking, but do you feel still pain?
Well, the pain, it's not like what it once was. I guess when I put my mind to other things, it's there, but I'm focused on something else, so it doesn't bother me. Sometimes I forget it's there, and then other times I feel it. So that never goes away because there's a lot of trauma to the muscle tissue and especially nerves. I used to play keys in the church and bands and stuff like that, but I took so many shots through my left arm that the nerve damage, I couldn't feel like 2 or 3 of my fingers for about 10 years. And now I'm just able to like stretch and do certain things, but I have to look at my hand and concentrate to do that. So that kind of messed up my keys experience, but I still have my right hand. So that's pretty much what the injuries has done.
I just believe, like, you know, like everything happened for a reason, like, you know, even us talking now today again, you know, hopefully it will, it's for better, like, you know, so, but your story is inspiring, man. It's very inspiring. I'm really happy that you came back again and we can talk again.
That's what's up, man. I told you we're gonna do it.
Soo100 on the track.
Yeah, man, really nice, really nice. So yeah, do you have any drone shots of LA? Because you told me that you like drone flying. Do you have any nice shots that we can use?
Actually, I do. Oh my goodness, yeah. Like I said, drones are my therapy. When I'm flying drones, when the drone is in the air, nothing here on the ground matters. And I love being in that moment. And it was nothing to hit record. So I have so much footage. I was dealing with a stock library where they would license and buy my drone footage, especially of LA. Because before, you know, the technology of drones like the Phantoms with the 4K cameras, you had to do a helicopter, and then you had to, you know, pay a certain amount of insurance to put cameras in the air and all of that stuff. So I kind of got in it when the game changed to drone flying early. So I still have a lot of that footage if you need some. It's so much that I don't even like shooting in Los Angeles. I think I mapped the whole Los Angeles already.
I'll have to visit one day, like, you know, yeah. But I would rather live in Florida, to be honest. Nice and tropical, warm water, like.
Me, I just moved in all of the places that I thought was fly, like DC, and, you know, to move to LA and Hollywood, and then I lived in Vegas for a while. I think if I were to move again, I went to visit my sister in Texas, and from the airport to her house, that drive, I saw nothing but plots of land for sale. Baby castles, I'm like, yeah, I want to come out here. If I was to leave Los Angeles, I would go to Texas.
Nice one, nice one. Good to know. I might end up in Texas, like, you know.
Hey, you remember that group Tony?
Yeah, rings the bell.
You know, when you hear that song, It Never Rains in Southern California, you think, oh wow, that's fly. But to be honest, I kind of miss a good thunderstorm. Like back home, we used to get them just heavy rains, and I sleep through that. So I haven't experienced that in a lot of years. So I do miss that.
Yeah, that's why I think Florida would be nice, because it still rains in Florida. Like, you know, it's warm, but it rains. Like, have you ever been to Florida yourself?
Actually, I haven't. I want to. That would be, I would definitely like to visit there.
We'll go together, or you'll come to visit me.
Okay, yeah. Just tell me when you're gonna be there. We'll link. That's gonna be fly.
Soo100 on the track.
What do you think about Elon Musk moving to Texas?
SpaceX and the CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, is following through on his threat. He says he is moving his businesses out of California.
I think he probably saw he can get a lot more for his money in Texas than California. I'm not sure, you know, the politics of a big corporation like that, but what you would pay here to build factories and stuff like that, I'm sure it'll stretch a lot further out there. Just a lot of undeveloped land and just more opportunities to expand.
Movies industry, it's all in LA, where you are, like, you know.
I think that's changing because a lot of places give incentives to come shoot there. I think we've shot over LA and we've seen it. So we definitely, you know, can develop, and with technology, we can make films anywhere. I'm in front of my blue screen right now, and I can put me anywhere I want to be, just sitting right here in my own studio. And then you got guys like Tyler Perry, who's built, I guess, his version of Hollywood studio in Atlanta. It's going to inspire more people to do the same. in other places where you can get a lot more land for your money, or, you know, stuff like that. Because it's expensive here. It's very expensive. Everything is expensive here.
And how's the cinema industry now with the virus? Is it slowing down, or is it more based in the studios now?
I would say, you know, for live action shooting, but as a visual effects artist, it picked up a lot, because now you can't be in certain places and have crowds of people. So you have visual effects artists put the people in there. You can't get certain locations, so a lot of people are shooting on green screens. Green screens have become affordable. Lighting, decent cameras have become more affordable, where people can shoot green screens in their own home. Like, for instance, this year I'm launching a business for, I guess initially it'll be for YouTubers who use green screen. I'm going to build sets for them where you can just put yourself in a pre-made set, and instead of just having a picture behind you or some kind of looping stock graphics video, like, why not just say, hey, I want to be on top of the Mayan pyramids or something like that, and I want the view to be whatever the case, and I would build that. That's kind of where it's at right now. And it doesn't even have to be out of this world things. You can build real world sets and the audience will never even catch it, and you were in one location in front of a screen just like this.
Can you tell me where did you learn all that, and how long took you to kind of grasp the whole graphic kind of area?
Well, actually, one of my mentors back home, his name is Butch, he taught me how to build computers in 1994, back when it was unheard of. Like, if you can build a computer, like, how did you do that? And now you're connecting to the internet. So I was a teenager. Once my injury happened in '99, I could remember being in so much pain in the hospital and bored that I just wanted to be out of my body, my mind. And my buddy Mike G went and bought me a laptop from Circuit City. I don't know if y'all remember that. And I just used to have the laptop on my chest, and I would composite and cut things out and test things and build worlds and render and animate. But I wasn't doing it as a goal to say, hey, one day I'm going to be this. I'm going to be living in Hollywood and I'm going to be working on multi-million-dollar movie. It wasn't that. It was an outlet. So when I used to get on sets and get shots or visual effects to do, I was light years ahead. That's where it came from. And also, when I wasn't on my laptop, I had an MPC beside me for music. So it was always either music, when I was able to sit up enough to do it, or but for the most part it was graphics and 3D.
Soo100 on the track.
The movies you worked on.
Fight for your children!
Immortals.
Fight for immortality!
Say, what's your winky?
Arthur.
Why are you shaving?
Because Robin doesn't have a beard.
I can see your tummy.
We awakened something.
Godzilla.
There's nuclear tests in the Pacific.
They were trying to kill it. Is that faithfulness a lie?
Priest. So such names, like, you know, the biggest would be Godzilla, isn't it?
Godzilla and maybe Immortals.
You have no idea what's coming.
That's the makers of 300. That's like 300 Part 2. And it's only a few movies that came and changed how graphics were supposed to be, and 300 was one of those movies. Before that, I think The Matrix had changed how graphics were supposed to be.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream?
So yeah, Immortals, and I would say Godzilla. Godzilla is a classic. Or on Godzilla, what I did was I used a free Blender, a 3D program, and they have a simulation in there called voxels, and we use that to simulate smoke for things that was smoking in the background. So it was more visual effects. We did that with Blender. On Immortals, that was more 3D, like with the glasses. We did that. We pulled it in 3D and we made it so when you look around the character, you don't see the hole that was cut out. We had to take pieces from the frame and fill in all of the gaps. And then now we're able to move the characters in 3D space. On Arthur, that was more cleanup work, green screen, keying, removing gaffer tape off the wall that was left on set, things of that nature. There was some couple independent movies. I edited a few television shows. But that came from, before I even got into that, I shot music videos in California. Yeah, I shot over 400 music videos. And then I got
400 videos, man.
Yeah. Then I got bored and said, what's next? And visual effects was the next level.
For who, like? Who was the artist?
A lot of West Coast legends, people that I looked up to, a lot of new artists, a lot of my own artists from having record labels. I had a DVD magazine that was distributed independently throughout the streets of LA, and then it went pretty far. It went past California. And those were exclusive. So what I would do is I would go to every neighborhood and say, who's talented? All right, I have a DVD magazine. And if you release, if I shoot this video for you and you exclusively release it on here, then, you know, we got a deal. And a lot of people did that, and I would interview them. I would go into wherever they were from, do interviews. But this was before it was a thing to do. This was way before it was a thing to do.
Soo100 on the track. Soo100 on the track.
So what software did you start to use for your graphics first? And what would you use now?
Well, I started on actually Microsoft Paint. It was a free program that came with Windows. It might even still be in there somewhere. I started on Microsoft Paint, and then as far as 3D, there was a program called Animation Master, where you can build worlds and put the characters in there, and it takes, I don't know, 6 hours of render time just to watch 14 seconds of footage, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Then I came across Photoshop, the first version, and I got on it and I knew how to work it, and that was it. I was on Photoshop for about 20 years. I used to go speak to the youth, like a lot of youth in detention and probation schools, and just, you know, because I know what y'all going through. I've been there. So when I go and tell them, you know, hey, I work on these movies, and if it motivates them, they'll go home and be like, hey, I don't have $3,500 for a nuke license, and I don't have $2,000 for my, these programs are expensive, the professional tools. So I took it upon myself to learn open source tools, which are tools that are free to the public. You can tweak them however you want. But now I use all open source. I use GIMP for my graphics. For my 3D and visual effects, I use Blender. And for editing and detail compositing, I will use Blackmagic Resolve.
Did you had any formal, like a college or on a course, or you learned everything yourself?
Yes, both. I have my degree is in computer science. I'm heavy into electronics and building things from scratch. I can remember in high school, your senior year, you have to, where they give you an option to take an elective, like you could do barbering, there was carpentry, there was auto body, and then there was electronics. And what they did was they had all of us come to in the assembly room, an auditorium, and each of the teachers came and did like a demonstration. Like the carpentry people, they came and put the front of a house up, like, you can build this. And then the auto body guys came with like a door and they candy painted it and pulled the dent out. I was like, you can do this. And then I remember Mr. Casa, he was a little tiny guy with glasses. He came on real slow. It was like, you know, I'm into electronics and I'll teach you things like Ohm's law and how to read credit card strips and how to break into doors and how to hack and how to do this. And my jaw dropped, like, I want that. So when I got into his class, I used to do crazy things like take car radios and sell them. And people used to say, hey, I'll pay you if you teach me, if you put the radio in as well. So I noticed that in the car, everything was based on 12 volts. And then I also remembered that in class, on our boards, when we're testing and stuff like that, we're using 12 volt batteries. So I asked them, I said, hey, is this the same thing in cars that we're doing here? And when he told me yes, I went crazy. I was the guy putting TVs in headrests. I would take the front of a radio. Remember the detachable face plates?
Yeah.
Where you take your plate off? I would remove the front shell and put it in your sun visor to where you could just put your detachable face in the visor and run all the wires. You'll never see any wires. That was me once I realized that what he was teaching me. And then I got into sound competition. Yeah, I had a 91 Honda XL, and I think it was the loudest car on the East Coast for 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks. So that's how I got into that. And then, you know, by the time you get into college, the closest thing to what I was doing was computer science. So then I went through that and learned, you know, how to code and build websites and all that good stuff. And then later, like once I left college, I became an entrepreneur. I had a record label and I was shooting the music videos I was telling you about. But then once I got bored, I felt like I need to get to the next level. So I enrolled in the Art Institute of Hollywood for media arts and animation. And then from there, I think I was even too advanced to be there. I can remember midterms, being in the lab, and I'm helping everybody else with their project that I didn't even do my midterm. So you know what? I'm not even gonna do the midterm. I'm gonna put something amazing together. I'm gonna blow them away and I'm just gonna get the grade. It was like cheat code. So one day a rep from Sony came in and said, hey, we're looking for artists. And a lot of people may not have known my name, but they will say, hey, go find a guy in the wheelchair. Go find a guy in the chair. So finally they came to me, called me to the office, and the first movie was Priest that I came to work on. And then because of the job that I did on Priest, I got called back from Immortals. And then building relationships with like some of the senior guys, when they'll go get on a movie, they'll give me a call. That's how I got Godzilla, because my mentor who taught me knew that I knew Blender. And this thing called voxels was one of the perfect tools to use for smoke at the time. So it was it's a mixture of being self-taught and I guess going in thinking I'm getting structured. Now, mind you, school I don't think it'll teach you how to be creative. What I did get from going through formal education is the history of compositing and techniques and who came up with what and how it developed and evolved and that kind of stuff, which is stuff I probably could have Googled. I didn't have to pay tens of thousands just to get that. But the relationships I built are priceless, because a lot of my classmates now, even if I get a shot, I can call them and say, hey man, I'm trying to get this shot out, or hey, I got a job, you want to come on with me? And that's priceless to me.
Soo100 on the track.
So tell me now about your music passion, how that started for you from the beginning, like, you know, because you told me that you played some live instruments, how that came to be.
Yes, I grew up in Washington, D.C., and go-go music is the thing. And go-go music is all live percussion. If you can't afford the instrument, we would be on sliding boards with rocks and trash cans, pots, pans, buckets, whatever can get the tone. I came up in that. And also, you know, I grew up in the church. So I was the guy who was interested in being in the band, and if someone wasn't there, I can sit in, hold the groove on the drum set, or I can play some chords on the piano. Didn't really mess with the guitars, but I can get around on the bass. That's in church, and then by the time you get to middle school, the school band, where you get to be the music for all the pretty girls in the school that's in the choir, they're singing, and you're sitting there playing the drums or the timbales or rototoms. And that was also a structured class, because I played in an orchestra. I was head percussionist in the orchestra. So I know what it feels like to have horn sections and flutes and, you know, just everything at your fingertips. So, and then by the time you get to be a teenager and you have a go-go band, you was it if you had a band. And I had a band, and then I ended up getting shot at 18. Like I said, going through what I was going through, I felt like, you know, I'll never be able to use my left hand again. How do I make music? So the MPC was introduced as a sequencer where you can do things in steps and layers. So I can lay my melody with my right hand, and then while that's playing, I can go to another track and lay my chords. And then I can't kick a set no more, but I can finger drum on these pads. And that's how I ended up being attached to the MPC so tough. It allowed me to still make the music that I wanted to hear, regardless of, you know, my situation.
Can you tell me how many MPCs you have, or you had?
All of them.
All of them. How many was there?
Because I have a few copies of some when they drop different color schemes. I can remember just off top at least 17, 18. I don't know. But it's a thing, like, if, you know, when you get some gear you like and you like it, you buy it, and then the next year they come out with the next version. Yes, I want the next version. And then, you know, 2 years later they come out with the next one, and then they'll drop an exclusive. Like, I have an MPC 2500 LE, and that one was the white paint with the carbon fiber sides. Oh my gosh, I had to have it. The sticker is still on it under the bottom. It was 3600 back then when it came on. I still had the tag on it. Now they have the MPC Live 2, the retro color, the white paint. I use that in some of my videos. So I'll get the machine, but if they drop another machine, I usually get that too. But it's like, you know, some people collect Jordans, and guitar players have lots of guitars. I like MPC. And there was a few years where I upgraded and customized. I had a small little business doing that, to where I would take the floppy drives out and put card readers in it, so you can get a little more use out of your older gear and be able to integrate with computers, things of that nature. Because once I opened one up, I saw, hey, it's just a computer in here. I can mess with this. And I did that for a couple years. Certain ones I tucked to the side for myself, and I sold other ones. So MPC has just been my thing. It won't be short. But I do on my Instagram. I switch it up. And I pull stuff because I treat my NPCs like classic cars. I take care of them. I'll paint them. I don't want scratches on them. I'll upgrade, the pads, and I'll match the colorways and put the fly buttons on them. And then when I'm not using them, I'll wrap them up. If I still got the box, put it back in the box, or at least wrap it in plastic and, put it up for a while. So I may use an NPC for a few months and then may not see it again for at least 2 years. So I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this one. Let me pull it out and bring back some memories.
Talking about Instagram, we met on Instagram, which was fantastic. But you told me that you're actually doing lives on Facebook, is it?
Yes, I'm in a group called NPC Vets. A guy named Trackmaker and we started that group, and it was totally dedicated for live cook-ups, just showing how to make a beat from scratch. Here's the process. My camera's on. This is what happens. And I met him in a group, NPC Gang, and every time I came on, he was making beats, live streaming. And I noticed that I would tune in like, oh, that's dope. And on top of that, as soon as I drop an expansion, he would immediately purchase it and be on live stream using it, making beats with it. And I'm like, yeah, that's fly. So because of all of the graphics and visual effects that I've been, contracted to do, 2020 I wasn't able to totally focus on Soo100. And I don't think people knew that I made beats. They just say, hey, he's a sound designer. Yes, I do design sounds, but I also use those sounds. So I thought it was a great idea to just, I'm putting out sounds. Let me show you they work. Let me show you how to use them. Let me show you what you're getting. And Facebook was a good platform to start in the groups, because the groups are very supportive and you get, feedback and immediate feedback and things of that nature. So it allowed me to get over the nervousness of live streaming, because I've never streamed anything before. And actually today is the 1-year anniversary that I launched Soo100.com, and I am launching my YouTube channel full time tonight. So I'm going to post videos on there every day of my live streams, and also I'm going to be giving advanced NPC techniques.
We would like to invite all the people watching to come over to 100 webpage and 100 YouTube page and 100 Instagram and follow this guy, because he's absolutely amazing. It's the story behind him. It's fascinating, and the sound design and music creation and absolutely everything about you is, man, it's absolutely savage, man.
Much respect. Thank you. Soo100 brand.
So yeah, what I wanted to just to conclude, I never expect that you are such a big star,
A big star? I wouldn't say that.
There's anticipation for your video, man, I tell you that, and the same, we were talking last week about the market. There is still room for tutorial videos and things like that, because even when I try to learn for myself, there's only few people doing it, only few people, and the same, we were talking last week about the market. There is still room for tutorial videos and things like that, because even when I try to learn for myself, there's only few people doing it, only few people,
I think the saturation is when you focus on the beginner tutorials. Me personally, I only want to do advanced techniques, just because I think there's enough videos that's telling you what a sequencer is and what a track and what a program is. You come to me when you have an issue, like, hey, I'm trying to get this guitar to sit right and that kind of stuff, or just ways that I use the NPC that the average person may not have thought to use it for. I think my channel will be valuable if I stayed in that lane. because they're, like I say, they are good beginner NPC tutorials. But me, I feel like when you come to me, you have a real problem. Not that you just don't know how to use the tool, or you just starting to make beats. And I don't mind that. It's just I feel like if I'm gonna do a channel, the value will be in putting things out that other channels don't cover.
Nice one. I can't wait, man. I can't wait to learn from you, man.
And actually with my channel as well too, it's different now because I'm not doing it chasing a career as a producer. I'm making the music that I want to do. I'm pretty set in life to where I can afford to say no to the hassles and the bad deals and all that stuff. But at the same time, if something does happen from it, that, you know, that's a bonus. But right now, I'm just having fun and I'm sharing my sounds with you. And it's mainly hardware. I believe I'm going to be, I'm going to say 99% hardware. I'm not against computers, but when it comes to this music, my workflow is analog circuitry, class A. That's it.
Nice one. Yeah, you told me that when you work on editing videos and the graphics and all this, then you want to go and turn the knobs and...
Yes, that's a reason why my music setups are like that, because when I do work on those shots, it's a 14 to 16 hour day sitting there looking at screens. And you know, when I want to take a break and make music, I don't want to just go to the next screen. And then also, you know, when I go to the next screen, and now I have to update the software, and I just want to turn my gear on and make noise. And that's what my hardware does for me. I have an MPC that outlasted my last 12 computers. And it's still ticking.
Fantastic. So yeah, we would like to invite everyone to go and yet again have a look, you know. Well, I start sounding like a YouTuber, like, you know. Hey.
Hey, and you know what? I already knew from the gate that I'm not gonna be that guy that just, oh hey everyone, today my name is Bigg Sixx and I'm gonna show. I'm not gonna be that dude. I'm gonna find a way, but I don't want to. It's just not me. It's not mine. I'm not that happy every day. I'm not that happy every day. I'm not gonna make no faces like something scared me in the thumbnails or anything like that. I'm gonna keep it simple, I'm gonna keep it branded, and it's gonna be fly.
Nice one, man. No, I tried it once, like I tried to record something and I was talking to myself, and man, it's same. It's not me, like I cannot do it like this. Now we talk here, you know, that's fine, you know, because I actually get to meet you, get to meet other people, and it's fantastic. And even if it's the last show I ever do, I'm happy, you know.
I think that's why I like the Facebook live streams, because it's like I guess it was practice for me to get used to it. The first day was tragic. I was focused more on camera settings and lighting and all this stuff, and just I wasn't focused on the music, so the performance probably wasn't what I would have liked it to be. But over time, I'm more comfortable. Every now and then I can look up at the comments and I can answer questions and then keep it moving. I like that format, more interactive, live kind of thing. A lot of producers or artists will say, if you tell them you produce, just send me a beat pack or email with like 10 beats. I don't have hundreds of beats sitting around. Maybe after all these streams I will, but I feel like if we're gonna work, let's sit down and just come from scratch. I'll come and perform. If you have me in the studio, that session will be productive. So that's my thing.
Yeah, I don't like using the sound packs that comes with MPC, like, you know, because they don't really sound that nice, man. No. So I have some sounds that I've just, you know, gathered over the years, a few gigabytes of that, and I just try to, you know, always. But now, yeah, I kind of what I got, it just came in 2 days ago. I'm still too busy to even hook it up.
Oh, what? Oh, lift it again, and it paused. The video paused. Let me see what it is.
sorry, my headphones went out. Look.
Oh, the Juno. Oh,
Can you see it?
Oh, wow.
Juno DS.
Oh, DS.
And it's a special edition for Europe. So, it's all...
Yeah, I was going to say, I never saw that before.
Yeah, it's all blacked out, so there was only apparently 500 pieces. And to be honest, that's the reason I got it, because it looks savage, man.
Yeah. Yes, and see, that's why I have different colors of MPs. It's like, come on. Okay, there you go. The rolling DS.
So yeah, I have to figure out how to connect to the MPC and yeah.
What I would do with the MPC, or what I have, is I went online and I bought a USB hub and spend a couple of dollars and get a nice one. Once you plug that in, now with the new MPC update, whatever instrument you plug in, you'll see the name of it and you're able to just go right to it. So if you get a USB hub, because we only have 2, so I put a hub on mine.
All right, and it works this way, yeah?
Yeah, you can get the cheap ones. They're going to work, but I don't know physically how long they're going to stay together. So I would just say go ahead and get a nice one. And I can plug in 20 cents to my MPC Live, the retro. I can plug in 20 here with those.
Soo100 on the track.
Nice one. Do you have keyboards and synthesizers also?
Yes, I do. My favorite is the ASR 10. I have the Akai AX60. That was their last analog synth that they made. I have the Behringer Poly D. It was just beautiful with the wood grain. I have a couple other synths, but my thing is, if a synth comes out and they do a desktop version, I'll definitely grab the desktop version. So I didn't want to have a studio with 50 different keyboards. I felt like, hey, it's more dope if I was to have one keyboard, my sequencer, controlling all of these brains that's, have a small foot space in the room. I can get to each and every one of them. And it's the same thing, it just doesn't have keys. I don't need keys on everything. So I have a few boards, and like I say, the ASR 10 is my favorite. And other than that, everything else are desktop synths and modules and rack modules, a lot of rack gear.
Are you planning to put out maybe album of instrumentals?
Yes, I want to do beat tapes. I feel like I've been on MPC for 21 years. I've never put out a beat tape. And like I say, with technology and some of the applications that we have now, it's easy to do so and have your stuff being streamed and playlisted. And I think I didn't know that people actually just wanted to hear beats. Like artists used to say, a producer is nothing without the vocals on it. You need us. And the producer was like, yeah, man, maybe you're right. But now people are, I know guys in the group that have put beat tapes out and got plaques for streaming.
Do you only listen to hip hop and rap music, or are you actually more open to other genres?
I listen to everything. I listen and I pull from different cultures, different genres. As far as making music, that's the music I grew up on. And I remember when I decided that I wanted to make beats, hip hop was the beats that I wanted to make. I feel like I'm probably versatile enough to dab in other cultures, but I don't know how other cultures would take it. Oh, you've been a culture vulture. I'm in my lane. I'm making the music that I like hearing and wanted to hear. I remember being in the hospital and I heard Dr. Dre's Chronic 2001, and the sonics and the way it was mixed and presented. That was when I said, you know what, I want to make beats. I think I know what he's doing because I'm doing that in my car stereo to songs all the time. I'm pretty much mastering them so you can hear it and I can compete. And that was pretty much the deciding factor at that moment. Yeah, so that's the music I make. I like R&B too, so it'll be hip hop and R&B. I do like trap. I can listen to it. I grew up around it, but as far as making it, I feel like if it's too easy for me, I'm not inspired to do it, kind of thing. Because in trap, you're asked to, dumb it down a little bit more. No, less is more, and it's so less that I don't even want to do it. But when I'm putting hip hop tracks together, I'm going through music theory, and I'm getting the drummer swing right, and I'm pulling in horn sections, and I'm staying in key, and all of that is a thought process that I enjoy going through as I'm pushing past keys and turning knobs, kind of thing. It's more challenging, and I like it.
What about sampling? Do you sample like old records and things like that?
Not anymore because of the business behind it. Some of these the copyright holders have sued so many people who sample, and they have every right to, but I just feel like we have other avenues now that we don't have to deal with that. There's people who make sample packs that have the same feeling and vibe and instruments, and probably even recorded with the same gear as these older records would have had. So if I was to sample, I would sample, live instrumentations. A lot of times what I do is hire session musicians, and I'll pay them to plug into my MPC and just, give me a groove and a scale. There's times, like, I keep an MPC on my lap. There's times I've been rolling probably just down Hollywood Boulevard, and I see a guy playing guitar for a change or whatever the case, and I'll shoot him 100 to plug in for a few minutes, and let's see what you got. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I hear you, and you're very talented, and when I put this together, if it makes some money, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna hit you with a big bag of money. So I like musicians, I like talented people, and that's what I sample. But like I said, because we have these tools available now, the elements that we were listening for on those records, you can just get them without having to filter it or do anything. Here's the element. You want chords? Here's chords played on classic vintage gear. So I take that and chop it up and make music. And then I'll play on top of it with my expansions to fatten it up and stuff like that. It's an experience.
Do you have any other passion? You told me music, you told me drones. I seen a picture with a dog. Do you have a dog?
Not at this moment, but I train dogs, mainly blue pits, blue pit bulls. I love blue pits. But my other passion outside of that would have to be fashion. I have a lot of heat presses and cutters, and I do shirts for different brands. I do logos and different graphics and stuff like that. That, when I'm doing that, when I'm making clothes, time disappears. And I found that out recently just in, fulfilling orders for people. Like, I've done the city of North Hollywood, I've done their security shirts that they're wearing right now. Those are shirts that I've done. And then I also have Ancient brand. This is my son's brand, my middle son. And then my oldest son has a brand called Crown Chakra Clothing. My baby boy, we haven't came up with nothing for him yet, but yeah, I rep my children's brands.
How does it look? Do you have it like in your garage, or do you have like actually a...
Oh no, it's a whole room for it.
All right.
There's a room specifically for fashion where all my heat presses are lined up, my cutters. I have a couple mannequins in there where we can put stuff on, and there's the clothes racks with blanks, and then you got the buckets with the blank hoodies and t-shirts. So when people order, I'm able to say, all right, somebody ordered a large black this design. So I'll go get a large black t-shirt, get the design, press it on, and ship it out. And I felt like that was more efficient than having hundreds of shirts pressed up and in inventory that you don't know is going to move, and you're stuck with a bunch of dead stock. Everything is print to order, and I wanted it that way. if the orders get too out of control, then I'll hire people to come in and help knock the workflow down. But yeah, that when I'm doing that, that's my other passion and hobby. So pretty much my channel is all of my passions together. I enjoy music and the NPC, so you'll see that. I'm only going to wear clothes that I wore, or that I've made, or my sons made, or people who I've met that have brands, smaller brands. I'm not into, supporting the brands that don't support us. And I like riding my bike. I have a 3-wheeler that I pedal with my hands, and I can take that up to 25 miles per hour, and my chair is wherever I left it. So when I'm on my bike, it's a sense of freedom. So all of those things I'll be incorporating on my channel. So I have my NPC on my lap, riding my bike, and the drone's following me. I don't know how I'm gonna pull that shot off, but I'm gonna do it.
So yeah, do you want to play a little game? I'm gonna pull out the poster, Great Awakening posters with a map of conspiracies, and I'm just gonna select one subject and we can see if you know anything about it. Are you into conspiracies?
All right. Yes, I am, because I'm a filmmaker and conspiracies have the best plot twist ever.
Yeah, that's what I actually love it, because for me it's entertainment. Let's see, I'm just gonna stop somewhere here. Full disclosure project. What do you think about disclosure and UFO disclosure?
I've been hearing that there's going to be disclosure for years and years and years. I do know that there's unidentified flying objects in the sky because we're unable to identify them, but I don't necessarily believe that they're little green men from other places. I believe that these unidentified objects are man-made here on this planet. Just like the government have researchers, and you got companies like Lockheed Martin. I'm sure they're not the only one. These are just people with more resources and better scientists. To put it in so many words, but I don't believe that it's an invasion from other planets. I just think it's just technology that we haven't been fully told about. But I would like to see if there are these green men and people, that will be a dope moment. Finally, humanity meets the Martians and the aliens and stuff like that. Hopefully it's not like all out war. Hopefully it's we come in peace kind of situation. This is where we come from, and that kind of thing. I wouldn't be afraid of that.
Nice one. Love your answer.
That'll fight you to the last man, and we'll never surrender.
So look, yet again, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure spend time with you. Thanks for coming back the second time. And yeah, fantastic, man, fantastic.
Same here.
So I'm gonna edit myself out as much as I can, It'll be only you've seen the video with the poly and Ghetto. Obviously the conversation was way longer, and I have to actually explain that to people as well. Maybe now as we talk, I have to explain that it's not like I just ask 3 questions in the show, it's not like that. They actually, people know what I wanted to ask them beforehand, so they talk about it. And then I only point them out to the things that they kind of missed from the list, so some kind of a deal.
Can't wait to see how it comes out.
What I'm looking for is just a nice flow, even if we got half an hour out of it, I'll be happy, But I'm sure there'll be more, And yeah, thanks, man. Pleasure.
That's what's up.
Look, your story is inspirational, it really is, and yeah.
Thank you very much.
Did you ever thought about making a movie based on your life?
Yes, it actually was in the works a couple years ago. I had a movie deal on the table, and we kind of went through with it. But for whatever reason, the budget didn't come all the way through. I think they were supposed to raise 12 million and only raised 6, and then they backed out. But I was thinking, but we got 6 million, like we can still. But I didn't understand the business, and it didn't work like that. But that was around the time Pursuit of Happiness it came out, and the attorneys that I was working with felt like that, hey, your story is just as good and compelling, and that's how that ended up happening. But since that happened, it made me realize that maybe people will take value from hearing what I went through instead of just, get my expansions, like, who is this person? So yeah, I definitely want to tell my story, but I just don't know where to end it, and I don't want to end it on the end. So I want to, there's a moment, and I'll know when that moment happens, like, all right, this is the end of a chapter, not my story, just a chapter. I was trying to find a good ending to the movie, because like I say, I feel like because I'm alive.
You can start when we met and we start doing this podcast, and then you can just the camera moves away and then shows your whole life, and at the end you'll go back to the podcast, to this show. yeah.
Hey, once upon a time, and then you go into the flashback movies. I like those.
Look, I will try to make as nicer as I can, and I appreciate having you,
It's an honor and a pleasure, man. I don't get asked to do interviews, believe it or not. So this is dope.
Thanks, man. I don't do interviews, man. I just make friends, man. I make friends.
Look at you. Yeah, same here. Build relationships and use the tools we have to build content and reach others. That's what it's about. Spread the message.
Perfect. Nice one. And on that lovely note, let's say we're gonna wrap up. And all the best, man. All the best.
That's what's up, man. I'll catch you later. All right, peace.
Why can't we all just get along?
Soo100.